What's up, guys? Last time we spoke, I was going to show you everything I do on this bike, and we're going to start now with re-gearing. We'll go to a 1448, 14 teeth in the front, 48 in the rear. Set up for a stock at 1351, I believe. If I go to a 1448, I'm hoping to get a little more top end. I'm taking some of the jerk out of first gear, which is what I want for slow technical stuff. I don't really want to put a recluse clutch on it yet. That may come. But if I can get some of the twist out of first gear, some of the spin and power out of first gear, then I can ride first gear and through technical stuff a lot easier, I think, than I can second, worry about stalling. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I'll let you know, but I'll do a little time lapse so you don't have to watch. What we're going to do today, change the front and rear sprocket, change the rear spring on this shock. I'm a little bit heavier guy. I'm not 180 pounds. Change the springs in the front shocks. In case you don't want to know what I'm doing, I'm by myself. So I've got to do the back brake. Had to put the back brake on. I thought I could hold the tire still. Negative. Alright, bust that loose. Now I'm going to look for the master link. So I had a chain brake, I think. I just didn't go look for it. Had it from my son's karting days. So I bought a 520 Motion Pro chain brake for a 520 size chain. So anyway, I'm just checking out the instructions to make sure there's something I don't need to know. Pretty nice looking tool. Seems quality. This shrink wrap stuff that they put on it though, it's almost a dead giveaway this thing's manufactured in China, which I can't imagine that. It must be wrong. I don't know why one would elect to have something made in China. I'll find out on the outside of the box over there, let you know, but we'll see how it holds up. It's probably warranted. They've got a good company, good name. So I'll let you know how it goes. I didn't want to scratch it all up, but there it is. Find the wrench that'll fit it if you want to help hold it. It's up to you. The pin's pushing through, I can feel it. I know it is because it's tightening. I'm just going to push it all the way out so I have to jack with it. At least till I feel resistance and I'll stop. Alright, there's resistance. Let's see what happened here, boys. Should have a pin all the way out the other side. And I guess that's why that block slides out like that. Okay, figured that much out. Pretty handy tool, I must say. Pin is not all the way through, but it's probably enough where I can use this spare pin pusher they gave me. No, well, it is all the way through. I didn't know that. I will be damned. Boys, I had an O-ring stock chain on this bike. It's just basically O-rings in between each one of these chain plates and pins. It's supposed to reduce friction and wear. So I'm going back with an X-ring chain that makes me feel a little better. It's basically the same thing. I was worried about chain being too wide and eating into this case. I was thinking I would have to shim out this front sprocket, but I don't think I'm going to have to do that if this is a O-ring type chain, so I'll have plenty of width. That's a good thing. That's how you break a chain, in case you don't know. What I've done, loosen this axle nut. Yeah, it's going to have to come all the way up. Slid all the way back. So that washer spacer goes back on like that. Indention lines here for adjusting your chain. Sorry, indention lines here for adjusting your chain. Put that down. And what I'm looking for is to see what kind of crap is in here. It looks like let's look on the other side. Yeah, that spacer T-looking part sits out. Okay, that's fairly easy enough. I'll go ahead and knock that axle bolt through. Wondering if there are any spacers or washers in there. No. That's going to stay mostly put. I may have to zip tie that up when I get that axle out. Get a paper towel for my axle. Now, I don't know, but not a drop. Yeah, it's greased with something. I was going to say, not a drop of grease whatsoever on that axle. Would seem to me it would have some, but what do I know? Alright, that spacer's going to come out. Back the camera up a bit. Try to catch those before they hit the dust. Alright. I'll leave that right there. It wants to stay, so. Alright, in case you haven't noticed, I don't have a wheel stand, but I do have a milk crate. So I'm just going through here and busting each one of these loose. To find out if I'm supposed to torque those to something. I don't have a clue. I've just got a socket. I don't even know if I can get a torque wrench and socket on there, so kind of making a mental note of how tight they are. Alright, I won't bore you with all this. I'm just going to go through and take each one out. Alright guys, the old sprocket is off. And the new is about to go on. I'm going to take some brake cleaner and clean that old one up. I don't know what the hell I'll ever use it for, but I suppose if I get out to the track and I realize, you know what, I don't like this. And that makes me think too about chain tensioning. I may go back to my original setup or something, but I was just thinking, I'm going to tension that chain and I'm going to suck the adjusters all the way up. Oh, everyone gives stickers. What the hell am I supposed to do with all these stickers? Anyway, I was thinking I'm going to tension I'm going to slide that chain all the way forward when I measure my new chain, and then I'm going to tension it up. Yada, yada, yada. And the outside, the markings will be on the outside, 48 teeth. Anyway, Now I'm thinking, you know, if I ever did do a wheel swap or do something different, I probably ought to cut my chain. I mean, it's going to stretch some, so I'll probably not move it all the way up. I'll probably move it to the forward adjuster, measure my chain length then, cut it there and fit it there, and then as it stretches it'll move back. That will give me more slack in case I wanted to go back with a larger sprocket on the rear. You know, I don't know how much difference. Well, let's look. Yeah, I mean, it's what, 3/16 of an inch, probably. No, it's more than that. About ½ an inch difference where the chain actually rides. So theoretically, that should just be at this point, this point, this point. So you know, it probably makes a pretty good difference. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean all this crap up right now. Clean this old sprocket off. The Sunstar, a hell of a lot heavier, but I don't care. I hear they're bulletproof, and that's what I really want. So that's what I'm going back with. I don't know if I'm supposed to have thread locker on here or not, but I am. I'm just using a medium strength blue thread locker. I figured, you know, it's got these, they're not nylock nuts, but they're similar. Got a tab in the back. When you tighten them down, they evidently is supposed to help from backing out. They look like a, what I call a castle nut or a nylock or a crown nut or whatever you want to call it. So I don't know. I can get it off if I have to. Now I damn sure don't want them coming off. So I'm doing what I think. Don't care what everybody else thinks. If you got a comment about that, feel free to leave it. I'll probably ignore it, but I'm going to tighten these down. I don't know that it matters either in a star pattern. Sometimes some of this crap, guys, you just have to do what you think makes sense. Everybody gets so caught up in, well, I have to do this and do I have to do that, and then they get 58 reasons in their little head why they can't do something. So never attempt it. Do it. You'll know if your sprocket starts to come off. Unless you're a professional desert racer doing 125 miles an hour down the beach, I don't think it's going to matter. If it come off, the back wheel will wiggle, you might fall down, big deal. Do something. Alright, do you want to watch me tighten this stuff up? I don't think so. I'm going to tighten these alternating, and I don't know, I may go look and see if there's a torque spec. If I can find one easily, I'll use it. If not, then I'm not. Just going to tighten them down to damn tight where they won't come off. I'll be back. I cleaned the, I didn't torque anything, sorry. All you torque freaks out there. Sorry. I didn't torque anything. So, let's get this back on. Wiggle my tire up through here. Wiggle my brake up through here. All right, looking good. Probably should have. It fits right in there. Good. All right, washer block. That came off the other side. Good. Evidently, there's no washer on the other side. Oh, let me get some grease and I'm gonna grease this axle before I slide it back in. Take whatever that shit is off. Probably the perfect grease, but I've got the absolute perfect grease for greasing these axles, in case you're wondering. And that's whatever the hell kind of grease I have laying around. It'll work. It's some good stuff. I don't know what this shit is. High temp multi-purpose grease. Okay, that'll just about cover it, except for the water factor, but I'll have these tires off, this wheel off, changing tires and doing crap to it. If I read somewhere that this is such a big deal, I'll do something about it. Okay. Grease. C'est bon. What the fuck that means. It's French, I think. Cajun. Back to where we were. If you guys can't see that, then it's just too damn bad. Alright, that nut had to be a certain way over there to have my tension indicator aligned. There's a little line on the top of this thing. And you gotta have that at the top so you can tell how tight. And I will probably torque this down. I don't know how tight it's supposed to be, so. Alright, that's the axle. This is a torque spec, of course, here. He has 23 foot-pounds. I'm just going to pay attention to how all this stuff comes off because I want it to go back on exactly the same. Looks like a center washer. That comes right off. Alright. Oh, it's even got a stamp out on the outside. I don't know if the new one has a stamp. Making sure that's all steel, so there's nothing. That's actually kind of rubbery. I don't think that goes into my other sprocket. We shall see. It doesn't appear to. I guess these are for spanner nuts to hold it so you can torque it, but see, that's what I was talking about. And that goes on. Well, I assume that was going to fit. On your nut here, it's even marked on this washer. It's marked outside. I'm just leaving all this together. I don't know what that indention's for, but it looks like it even marks on that washer. It's paint marked there and an indention there. I don't know why in the heck that would matter, but I'm gonna put it back on exactly like that. This is out. Alright, let me play around with this a little bit and see if I can figure out what the deal is. Put my new chain on, there it is. Just in case you're wondering, I was worried about here how wide this chain was, and if I needed to go. Now I've still got to put a case saver on here, which will protect this case if I pull a rock or something up in there. But I was worried about how wide this chain was and how it was going to rotate through here and not grind or rub, and it doesn't. I didn't need a washer, and I bought a DID racing chain, 520 ERV3. It's supposed to be the thinner of the chains because I wasn't certain that I had an O-ring chain on before. Now we're going to measure for kicks the width of my stock chain and the width of this chain. Let me zero this out. I'm going to go from pin to pin. And that one's 0.723. Let me move to my other. and it's 737 thousandths. So 0.737 versus sorry, I can't get my beady ass hands on it. Yeah, that ain't right. $729. So 723, 729. I'm not certain I'm getting it. Bottom line is this chain's actually a little narrower than my stock chain. So here's what I got to do. I got to figure out. I don't want to just break it there. I've got to figure out. I don't want to do this twice. What my chain tension is. I'm going to tighten this back down, torque it back down. I'll have to do it by holding the brake on the other side and torquing this. Everything came off just like it was supposed to. Everything's through the guide. But you can see where I am I'm at the back of my adjuster. Probably going to slide this up to about the the tightest third, because this chain hopefully doesn't stretch too much, but it will stretch some. Or my adjustment will need to be such that I put a bigger sprocket on and come slightly forward, or the chain stretches and I need to slide back. So I damn sure don't want to be back here. I want to be up in here with my axle nut and my axle before I determine where I'm going to cut this chain. I damn sure don't want to do it twice. I think it's about $100 chain or more. So anyway, alright, I'll be back. I hope a chain break and press video is not what you wanted to see, because I just am doing it. Bottom line is O-ring type chain. I mean, it looks just like a master link, right? Except it's got these O-rings. You grease these O-rings. They give you some grease with the chain. Hopefully, if not, just put some grease, axle grease, any kind of grease, I think, to lubricate these. The link will go back in. This gets placed on. Probably have to press it a little bit. O-rings will go here, here, and then the back side of this plate. It goes between the plate. You see these here, but basically it goes through here. Plate goes on, O-rings go in, press it. Then with the Motion Pro tool, you have the option to expand these pins. So these pins will go through and you basically press it and expand that pin. It doesn't come with a typical slide this on and then a clip goes through here like a typical master chain link does. So these are supposed to be better. We're going to find out. I'll get started. Got my axle bolt back in. I've just got to press that new link together. Next, we're going to tackle these front forks. I'm going to replace the spring in both of these. I'm not looking forward to it, but I don't know why they bother me so much taking forks apart. But anyway, that's next. Here's what's going next. I've got to take these front forks off. So, of course I know I've got to loosen these triple clamps here and here, pinch bolts. Forks should slide out from there. I'm going to go ahead and loosen this fork cap just to break it loose, because of I don't want to be doing it when it's off the bike. So evidently I'm going to need to take the trip meter wire off, or just undo that shroud. I'm going to take the wheel off, so that's got to come off. So I'm going to take everything off. I'll get back with you when I got my forks off. I just wanted to tell you maybe want to bust this loose first. It just makes sense to me. So I'm going to knock that loose and see what happens. Be back in a minute. Alright guys, I thought I'd show you where I was. I went ahead and busted this loose while I had at least this bottom tree tight. I'll go ahead and loosen up these pinch bolts. We got the front wheel off, axle and everything out. I'm going to start with this right side just because it's easier. I don't have to jack with the brake. Over on this brake side, you're going to have to pull the caliper off and hang it somewhere. I guess right here is good as any. What the hell? I don't know what I left off, but I've got an extra one there. Maybe it should go somewhere, but oh well, it's just dangling there. So alright, that's what I'm going to do. I'll come back to you guys whenever this right side off and we'll look at it. That didn't take long. Came out fairly easy. Look what I'm going to do. I'm going to take and open that air bleed screw. I'm going to count my clicks, and I'm going to counterclockwise reverse all the pressure off of that. Take this top nut off, this top cap, drain the oil out of here, and I'm hoping I don't have to split these. I'm hoping all I have to do is take the top, get this cartridge free, go down to the bottom. There's a nut in it here. I'll loosen that. Pull the cartridge out, take the oil out, change my spring. I'll be back. It's out. Look, the first step is back these all the way out. Back your compression settings and your rebound settings. The blue nut right in the middle. Back it all the way out. Remove this top cap. Drain the oil. Pump it up and down. Get as much oil out as you can. Come back and break this bottom nut here off. You're going to release that. You're going to break this loose. And I'll show you that process. Right now, I'm going to remove this top cap and drain the oil and back this setting off. Put your fork tube back on. You have to tighten it all the way down. Just put it back on. Alright, pay attention. Follow me. You guys will be able to see this. Probably not, but what I've got to do now is take a nut and break this loose. Well, I'll just let you watch. Front axle, in case you didn't know. this stuff where you can see it. Bottom line is you back this all the way out. There will get to a point where it threads all the way out. Okay, you can hear it click. When I set this on the ground, put a little pressure on it, hoping you can see that. Spring loaded. Just put my camera right there. Alright, 1/2 inch wrench. Or 12 millimeter, whatever. Put pressure on that. You want to get down beneath this piece right here. And that holds it in place. They sell all kinds of special tools and shit if you really want to buy it. You know what I didn't do? I didn't back this all the way out. Let's do that right now. I'm hoping that didn't mess anything up. I get a screwdriver. All right. Or maybe I did. It is what it is. We're not going to mess with it now. So, 12 millimeter wrench. I think that's probably some of my problem. Hold on. Alright, we're going to take that nut off. You'll hear it click. When you do, that means you can put pressure on it. You want to push it down. 12 millimeter wrench. Right underneath that piece. You'll see. Alright. Then take a 17 as a backup. Let's continue taking this off. You hear it click. It's your adjuster. Okay, that's it. It's threaded two ways. Threaded inside, threaded here. Put pressure, take your wrench back out. Follow me. Take this back off. The whole purpose of releasing that on that end was so you can take this off and get this old cartridge out. Cartridge comes out. I'm gonna put this somewhere clean. Hang tight. New spring. In the tube. Cartridge. Hand tightening this down, by the way. Okay. And turn it over and make sure everything looks right. It does. This slides down in. All right, there we have it. Back over to where we left off. Same thing applies. Press it with a 1/2 inch wrench. That will stop it. You'll see this is a flat side and it's tapered such that it fits back down in that adjuster. Threads back on. '17 as a backup. Tightening, pressure, release, no more backup. Alright, that's tight. I don't know what the torque specs are, just tighten it. Alright, that's it. Now, take it back out, release the cap, put the recommended amount of oil in. I figured mine was from Racetech, 350 cc's. Put the shocks back in. I'll be back. Okay, look guys, all you have to do, I went over and I loosened this back up, the fork cap. whatever, the cap. Slid this down a little bit, poured the 350 cc's of oil in it, slid it back up, and tightened it back on. That's it. Now tighten it down after I get it back in the bike and I get the lower triple clamps on it. And that's all there is to it. Hope you try it yourself.